Imagine a realm where the horizon dissolves into a haze of gold and ochre, where the sun's unyielding glare sculpts the land into a mosaic of survival. The Serengeti is not simply a backdrop, it is a living organism, pulsing with the energy of countless lives, each thread woven into a tapestry of adaptation, resilience, and raw instinct. The grasslands undulate in the wind, their golden blades whispering secrets to the acacias that stand like ancient guardians. Wildebeest and zebra drift across the plains, their movements dictated by the subtle language of shifting shadows and the promise of distant rain. Each hoof-step is a calculated risk, every mouthful of grass a wager against lurking danger. As the first rays of dawn ignite the sky, the Serengeti stirs with anticipation. Predators slip from the shadows, their bodies low and sinewy, senses sharpened by the hunger that gnaws at their bellies. Overhead, vultures spiral in patient arcs, their keen eyes searching for the faintest tremor of distress below. The tempo of existence here is ceaseless. Herds surge forward in a synchronized ballet, hooves drumming a primal rhythm into the earth. Giraffes glide between thorny branches, their tongues deftly plucking leaves unreachable to others, while the dust of migration hangs in the air, a testament to the perpetual search for nourishment. Every inch of the Serengeti vibrates with life. Insects hum beneath the grass, their tiny dramas unfolding unseen. Dragonflies shimmer above hidden pools, their wings refracting the morning light. Starlings twist and turn in the sky, their synchronized movements a living tapestry of evasion and unity. Every creature is a sentinel, attuned to the subtlest vibrations of threat and opportunity. A single misplaced footfall can send impalas bounding in a blur of muscle and fear, while warthogs, snouts buried in the earth, remain ever vigilant, their eyes scanning for the glint of a predator's gaze. From the tireless ant forging tunnels beneath the soil to the elephant, whose every stride reshapes the landscape, each inhabitant is a vital cog in this intricate machine. Termite mounds rise like citadels, their architects toiling in darkness, while elephants dust themselves in the sun, their calves learning the ancient rituals of the herd. The apex predators command the stage with silent authority. Lions, regal and calculating, survey the horizon for the faintest sign of weakness. Hyenas, ever opportunistic, melt into the grass, their laughter echoing in the twilight. Wild dogs, bound by unspoken bonds, coordinate with a glance, their unity a formidable force. Each predator is a master of its craft. Lions orchestrate hunts with precision, cheetahs prowl with liquid grace, and leopards vanish into the canopy, their bodies poised for the perfect moment. The serval, with radar-like ears, stalks the reeds, attuned to the faintest rustle of prey. Bodies sculpted by evolution, these hunters move with purpose. The lioness melts into the grass, every muscle taut with anticipation. Cheetahs stretch, preparing for a burst of speed that will blur the line between predator and wind. Wild dogs fan out, each member a note in a symphony of pursuit, while hyenas plot with uncanny intelligence, their strategies honed by generations of trial and error. Life here is a crucible, testing every creature from birth. Young lions spar in mock battles, their roars echoing across the plains. Cheetah cubs hone their skills in playful ambushes, while wild dog pups shadow their elders, absorbing the choreography of the hunt through imitation and instinct. Victory is never guaranteed. Cheetahs weave through the grass in dizzying pursuit, their every step a gamble. Lionesses communicate with the subtlest flick of a tail, orchestrating ambushes with silent precision. Hyenas exploit the twilight, their movements cloaked in secrecy as they close in on the vulnerable. The Serengeti's rulers are guided by an ancient code. A lion's roar reverberates across the rocks, a declaration of dominion. The cheetah's gaze sharpens, every sense focused on the hunt. The wild dog alpha scans the horizon, attuned to the faintest tremor of opportunity or threat. Instinct is the silent mentor, shaping each generation. Lionesses guide their cubs through the art of stealth, cheetah mothers demonstrate the explosive chase, and hyena matriarchs lead their clans with unwavering resolve, imparting the lessons of survival through action and example. Instinct whispers in the tall grass, guiding the lioness to freeze at the precise instant, urging the cheetah to explode into motion, and teaching the leopard the art of invisibility. Each movement is a calculated risk, every pause a potential turning point between triumph and defeat. The engine of survival is always running. Cheetahs ignite the plains with their speed, wild dogs execute flawless maneuvers, and hyenas dart in to claim what others have left behind. Every heartbeat is a contest, every breath a wager in the relentless game of life and death. From their first uncertain steps, the young are thrust into a world where every lesson is a matter of survival. Play is the crucible in which skills are forged. Lion cubs tumble in mock combat, cheetah cubs stalk insects with unwavering patience, and wild dog pups learn the choreography of the hunt through mimicry and repetition. The path to adulthood is fraught with peril. Mothers shield their young with unwavering vigilance, guiding them through rocky outcrops and tangled thickets. Every journey is a lesson in caution, every encounter a test of awareness and adaptability. Across this boundless arena, the continent's most formidable hunters display their mastery. Lions assert their dominance with regal confidence, cheetahs blend speed and precision, leopards vanish into the shadows, hyenas adapt with cunning, and wild dogs rally with unbreakable unity. Each predator's story is a testament to the power of adaptation. Lions rest in the shade, conserving energy for the next hunt. Cheetahs scan the horizon, calculating every move. Wild dogs gather in tight-knit packs. Hyenas skulk with restless energy, and leopards perch in trees, ever watchful. The serval's leap is a marvel of precision, while hyena cubs wrestle under the watchful gaze of their clan. Each species has evolved a distinct arsenal. Lions rely on ambush and brute strength, cheetahs on explosive acceleration, wild dogs on relentless teamwork, leopards on stealth, and hyenas on adaptability. Every technique is a response to the Serengeti's unforgiving demands, a solution honed by countless generations. Venture with me into the heart of the Serengeti, where every day is a crucible of instinct and ingenuity. Here the fiercest battles are waged not for glory, but for the right to endure. In this arena, every heartbeat, every decision, every fleeting moment is a vivid testament to the relentless struggle for survival. In Africa's untamed wilderness, survival hinges on the ability to vanish, to wait, and to strike with unerring precision. Here, the most successful predators are those who have evolved to exploit every shadow, every whisper of wind, and every lapse in their prey's vigilance. Ambush is not merely a tactic, it is a way of life, woven into the very fabric of the ecosystem. The lion, with its imposing presence, is a master of calculated patience. Its mane may signal dominance, but its true power lies in the collective intelligence of the pride. The leopard, solitary and spectral, is a creature of silence, its every muscle tuned for the sudden, decisive strike. Lionesses, the architects of the hunt, move with a fluidity that belies their strength. Each step is measured, each glance a silent signal. The leopard, meanwhile, threads its way through tangled brush, its paws barely disturbing the leaf litter, its tail a silent metronome of intent. Lionesses deploy a crescent formation, using the terrain to funnel prey into a trap. Their bodies flatten against the earth, blending seamlessly with the tawny grass. The leopard, a master of mimicry, becomes indistinguishable from the shifting mosaic of light and shadow, pausing mid-step to listen for the faintest rustle. Within the pride, each lioness has a role, drivers, flankers, and ambushers working in silent harmony. The leopard, ever solitary, must anticipate threats from all directions, often retreating to the safety of the canopy, where it surveys the world below with unblinking focus. Both lions and leopards are students of their environment, reading the subtle cues of wind direction, herd movement, and even the alarm calls of birds. In the rivers, the Nile crocodile lies in absolute stillness, its armored body indistinguishable from the debris-laden water, waiting for vibrations that betray the approach of thirsty herbivores. As dusk descends, the savanna transforms. Shadows lengthen, and the air cools. This is the predator's hour, when the interplay of light and darkness blurs the boundaries between hunter and hunted, and the world becomes a theatre of deception. Lionesses exploit the failing light, their outlines dissolving into the grass. Crocodiles, propelled by barely perceptible movements of their tails, glide toward the water's edge, their approach masked by the play of ripples and the golden shimmer of twilight. The choreography of the ambush is intricate. Lionesses position themselves with mathematical precision, anticipating the likely escape routes of their quarry. The leopard, pressed low, advances in increments, each pause dictated by the rhythm of the prey's grazing. Camouflage is a predator's first line of offense. The lioness's fur mirrors the brittle grass, rendering her nearly invisible. The crocodile's mottled hide is a living map of the riverbed, while the leopard's rosettes fracture its silhouette into fragments of shadow and light. Every movement is deliberate. A single misstep, a snapped twig, a shift in the wind, can unravel hours of preparation. The tension is palpable, a silent current that electrifies the air as predator and prey draw ever closer. In these suspended moments, predators become phantoms. Lionesses melting into the dusk, crocodiles reduced to a pair of watchful eyes, leopards vanishing into the tapestry of the forest. Patience is honed by necessity. Some hunts stretch into the night, with predators remaining motionless for hours, their senses attuned to the faintest tremor or scent on the breeze. When the signal comes, it is instantaneous. Lionesses surge forward, their acceleration a burst of raw power. The leopard erupts from concealment, its leap a calculated arc aimed at the most vulnerable point. The herd's response is chaos. Zebra and antelope scatter, their instincts driving them toward perceived safety. Yet the ambush has been set with such precision that escape routes funnel prey directly into danger. In the confusion, some animals blunder into the waiting jaws of concealed lions. At the riverbank, a crocodile's strike is a sudden eruption, jaws snapping shut with bone-crushing force, the water exploding in a maelstrom of violence. Each predator's strategy is a product of evolutionary refinement. Lions manipulate the landscape using gullies and termite mounds to their advantage. Leopards, unrivaled climbers, hoist their kills into the branches, denying scavengers and ensuring a solitary feast. Crocodiles exploit the element of surprise, their attacks timed to the split second when prey is most vulnerable. The final act is a display of specialized violence. Lionesses coordinate to bring down large prey, their claws and teeth working in concert. The leopard suffocates its victim with a precise bite, minimizing struggle. The crocodile's infamous death roll tears flesh and bone, subduing even the strongest adversaries. After the hunt, the savanna echoes with the low rumbles of lions reaffirming social bonds. The leopard, ever vigilant, scans for hyenas or other opportunists, its meal often interrupted by the need to relocate or defend its prize. The aftermath is a study in contrasts. Lions feed communally, their hierarchy dictating access to the carcass. Crocodiles, drawn by the scent of blood, converge in silent rivalry, their feast a brutal contest of strength and tenacity. The leopard, isolated in the treetops, consumes its kill in wary solitude. Male lions, though less involved in the hunt, are the pride's sentinels. Their patrols reinforce territorial boundaries, their scent marks and thunderous roars a deterrent to rivals and a signal of stability within the pride. The struggle for dominance is relentless. Male lions confront hyenas and rival males, their confrontation shaping the fate of entire prides. Leopards, lacking allies, rely on agility and secrecy, often forced to abandon kills to persistent scavengers. The next generation learns by example. Lion cubs observe the choreography of the hunt, absorbing the nuances of teamwork and timing. Leopard cubs, concealed in dense thickets, are schooled in the arts of concealment and independence, their survival dependent on lessons in stealth and caution. In this intricate web of predator and prey, the ambush specialist is both artist and engineer, shaping the ecosystem through every calculated move. Their existence is a testament to the relentless arms race of adaptation, where only the most cunning and patient survive. Here, intelligence, strategy, and an intimate knowledge of the land are the true measures of mastery. Across the boundless, sun-drenched plains of Africa, a singular predator reigns supreme in the art of speed. The cheetah, nature's supersonic hunter, embodies a masterpiece of evolutionary design, each feature honed for the pursuit of prey in open grasslands. Unlike the brute force of other apex predators, the cheetah's hunting method is a solitary, high-stakes sprint. Its entire existence revolves around a single extraordinary adaptation, the ability to accelerate with explosive force, outpacing every rival on the savanna. The cheetah's body is a marvel of biomechanics, with a lightweight frame, elongated limbs, and a spine as flexible as a coiled spring. It can reach speeds up to 70 miles per hour. Its semi-retractable claws act as natural cleats, gripping the earth for maximum traction. Oversized nasal passages and lungs enable the cheetah to gulp vast quantities of oxygen, fueling its muscles during the sprint. Its tail, long and muscular, serves as a dynamic rudder, stabilizing the body through razor-sharp turns as it matches the evasive maneuvers of fleeing prey. In the critical seconds of a hunt, the cheetah's senses are heightened to the extreme. Its vision is among the sharpest in the animal kingdom, capable of detecting the faintest movement from great distances, while its heart rate surges to over 200 beats per minute. As a diurnal hunter, the cheetah operates under the relentless African sun, stalking its quarry in broad daylight. This strategy reduces competition with nocturnal predators, but exposes the cheetah to the harshest elements and the constant threat of detection. Vigilance is essential. The cheetah must remain acutely aware of its surroundings, scanning for the approach of larger carnivores or opportunistic scavengers that could threaten both its hunt and its life. Elevated vantage points, termite mounds, fallen logs, or low branches, offer the cheetah a strategic overview. Its eyesight is so refined that it can distinguish the subtle flick of an antelope's ear from over a mile away, allowing it to select the most vulnerable target. Patient and methodical, the cheetah observes herds for signs of weakness, a limp, a moment's distraction, or an individual straying from the group. Selection is critical. Only the most promising target is worth the energy of a chase. The approach is a study in stealth. Using the cover of grass and the contours of the land, the cheetah creeps within striking distance, minimizing exposure until the final decisive moment. Timing is everything. The cheetah must judge the distance with precision, knowing that its sprint can only be sustained for 20 to 30 seconds before its body overheats and exhaustion sets in. The chase is a blur of speed and agility. Prey zigzags in desperate evasion, but the cheetah's flexible spine and powerful limbs allow it to mirror every twist, closing the gap with astonishing precision. This explosive burst comes at a cost. The cheetah's temperature rises rapidly, and if the kill is not secured within a few hundred yards, it must abandon the pursuit, utterly spent and vulnerable. Success is elusive. Only about 1 in 4 hunts ends in a meal. When the cheetah does make contact, it employs a swift swipe of its dew claw to trip the prey, then clamps down on the throat, suffocating its quarry with surgical efficiency. The cheetah's tail is a vital adaptation, acting as a counterweight during high-speed turns, enabling the predator to maintain balance and control even at breakneck velocity. Each hunt is a contest of athleticism and instinct, a high-stakes pursuit where a single misstep can mean the difference between feast and famine. Even after a successful hunt, the cheetah's challenges are far from over. Its slender build, optimized for speed rather than strength, leaves it at risk of losing its hard-won meal to heavier carnivores. The cheetah must consume its prey rapidly, always alert for the approach of lions, hyenas, or vultures. Scavengers capable of overwhelming the cheetah and stripping a carcass bare in moments. In the face of overwhelming odds, the cheetah often abandons its kill to avoid injury or death, a testament to the constant peril that shadows every meal in the wild. Survival for the cheetah is a delicate balance. Not only must it catch its prey, but it must also defend it, weighing the value of a meal against the risk of confrontation. In the relentless theatre of the African plains, the cheetah's existence is defined by extraordinary adaptations, ingenious hunting strategies, and the ever-present challenge of survival. Here, only the most specialized and resilient of nature's supersonic hunters endure. Across Africa's sprawling, sun-baked grasslands, survival is a relentless contest of wit, endurance, and collective strength. Here, the continent's most formidable predators have evolved to thrive not as individuals, but as tightly knit units. The African wild dog, renowned for its seamless teamwork, is joined by the cunning hyena and the disciplined lion pride, each species wielding the power of the pack to tip the scales of survival in their favor. African wild dogs, or painted wolves, are among the savanna's most effective hunters. Their success is rooted in a sophisticated social order, where every individual, from the alpha pair to the youngest pup, has a defined role. Bonds are forged through constant interaction, from playful nips to ritualized greetings. Hyenas, meanwhile, operate within complex matriarchal clans, using a rich tapestry of vocalization, scent marking, and physical gestures to maintain cohesion. Lion prides, led by experienced lionesses, rely on a blend of discipline and nurturing, ensuring that each member contributes to the pride's prosperity. Unlike solitary hunters, these predators depend on intricate coordination and constant communication. Wild dogs orchestrate long-distance pursuits, each member anticipating the movements of both prey and packmates. Hyenas employ tactical maneuvers, splitting into subgroups to confuse and outflank their quarry. Lionesses, the pride's primary hunters, move in near silence, reading subtle cues, like a flick of a tail or a shift in posture, to synchronize their approach and maximize their chances of success. The pack operates as a single, dynamic entity, constantly adjusting to the shifting challenges of the wild. Wild dogs move in fluid formations, their positions changing as they read the terrain and the behavior of their prey. Hyena clans follow the guidance of dominant females, whose experience and intuition dictate the group's movements. Lion prides gather before a hunt, each member acutely aware of her role, whether as a flanker, chaser, or ambusher. Before the hunt, elaborate rituals unfold. Wild dogs greet each other with a chorus of high-pitched chirps, yips, and tail wags, reinforcing unity and excitement. Hyenas assemble at dusk, their haunting whoops and giggles echoing across the plains, summoning clan members and signaling intent. Lionesses communicate through low growls, head rubs, and synchronized movements, aligning their strategies without a sound. These greetings are vital, serving as more than mere displays. They are the social glue that cements trust and cooperation. Every interaction, from a wild dog's playful leap to a hyena's nuzzle, strengthens the bonds that will be tested in the chaos of the hunt. The young are always watching, absorbing the nuances of pack life. Wild dog pups mimic the adults' movements, learning the signals and strategies that will one day make them indispensable. Hyena cubs observe and imitate, practicing mock chases and mock fights. Lion cubs study the adult's every move, internalizing the silent language of the pride. Decision-making is a collective process. Wild dogs have been observed using sneezes as a form of consensus, each sneeze a vote for action, with the hunt commencing only when enough members signal readiness. Hyenas communicate intent through tail positions, ear movements, and subtle shifts in body language, passing information silently through the group. Lionesses use a repertoire of gestures, tail flicks, ear twitches, and eye contact to coordinate without alerting their prey. Once consensus is reached, the transformation is instantaneous. The pack surges forward as a single organism, each member attuned to the other's movements, their actions perfectly synchronized by instinct and experience. The hunt itself is a masterclass in strategy and endurance. Wild dogs initiate the chase at a measured pace, conserving energy for the long pursuit ahead. Their stamina allows them to cover immense distances, with individuals rotating to the front to maintain speed. Hyenas exploit their numerical advantage, fanning out to harass, confuse, and exhaust their quarry. Lionesses rely on stealth and timing, positioning themselves for a sudden explosive ambush from multiple directions. Each species has refined its own hunting blueprint. Wild dogs pursue relentlessly, often running for miles, their formation shifting as individuals tire and recover. Hyenas are opportunists, tracking the injured or isolated, and taking turns at the front to share the burden. Lionesses employ patience and precision, stalking their prey for hours before launching a coordinated attack. The chase is a test of endurance and adaptability. Wild dogs can sustain speeds exceeding 30 miles per hour, their ranks rotating seamlessly to keep the pressure on. Hyenas coordinate their pursuit, with individuals taking the lead as others fall back to recover. Lionesses time their sprint to perfection, bursting from cover to drive prey into the waiting jaws of their pride. In these critical moments, the collective strength of the pack is fully revealed. Each predator relies on the unique abilities of its companions, speed, stamina, strength, and cunning, compensating for individual limitations with the group's combined prowess. Flanking maneuvers, strategic blocking, and encirclement are the result of generations of adaptation. Wild dogs take turns leading and flanking, ensuring no escape route is left unguarded. Hyenas split into subgroups, anticipating the prey's every move. Lionesses circle and close ranks, cutting off all hope of escape. The prey, worn down by relentless pursuit and strategic positioning, is left with few options. Against such coordinated effort, escape becomes nearly impossible. The final moments of the hunt are a testament to unity and precision. Wild dogs converge from all directions, hyenas close in with calculated timing, and lions share the spoils with the entire pride, ensuring that every member benefits from the collective effort. Communication remains constant, even in the aftermath. Wild dogs use a range of vocalizations and body signals to maintain order and prevent conflict. Hyenas vocalize to assert dominance and organize feeding, while lionesses roar and gesture, reinforcing pride unity and signaling safety to their cubs. After the hunt, social order is reaffirmed. Wild dogs allow pups and elders to feed first, a gesture that strengthens group cohesion. Hyenas adhere to a rigid hierarchy, with dominant females feeding before others. Lion cubs are shielded by adults as they eat, learning the rules of the pride through observation and participation. These moments of sharing are crucial for survival. They protect the vulnerable, teach the young, and reinforce the values of cooperation, respect, and mutual support that define pack life. In the heart of Africa, the power of the pack is the ultimate survival tool. Through intricate communication, unwavering cooperation, and deep social bonds, these predators have perfected the art of collective living, demonstrating that in the wild, unity is not just strength, but the very key to enduring the challenges of the savanna. As the golden sun dips below the horizon, the Serengeti transforms into a realm of shadows and illusions, a living canvas where the art of stealth is perfected by nature's most skilled hunters. Across the African plains, predators rely not only on brute strength or coordinated teamwork, but on a sophisticated arsenal of stealth techniques. Camouflage, movement, and sensory adaptation converge in a silent contest between hunter and hunted. The leopard, master of concealment, crouches low in the tall, tawny grass. Its rosette-patterned coat is a marvel of disruptive coloration, fracturing its outline and rendering it nearly invisible in the dappled sunlight. Each spot and shadow on its fur is a calculated adaptation, allowing the leopard to vanish into the interplay of light and shade. This camouflage is not static. It shifts with the animal's every move, blending seamlessly with the ever-changing savanna. Movement is equally crucial. The leopard's muscles ripple beneath its skin as it glides forward, each step measured and deliberate. It disturbs barely a blade of grass, its approach a study in patience and precision. When prey is near, the leopard freezes, holding its breath, every sense heightened. Its vision is adapted for low light, and its whiskers detect the faintest tremor in the air, a silent symphony of sensory adaptation. The cheetah, though built for speed, is no less a master of stealth. Its slender frame and muted spots provide a different kind of camouflage, breaking up its silhouette against the patchwork of grass and shadow. Rather than relying solely on blending in, the cheetah uses the landscape itself, termite mounds, sparse bushes, and undulating terrain, to mask its approach. It moves with fluid grace, hugging the ground, every muscle coiled for the explosive chase. Its distinctive tear marks are more than decoration. They reduce glare from the harsh sun, sharpening the cheetah's focus as it calculates distance and wind, every sense tuned to the subtlest cues. Stealth is not the exclusive domain of the big cats. The African serval, a smaller feline, is a specialist in both camouflage and sensory adaptation. With elongated legs, the serval can peer above the grass while keeping its body concealed. Its large, sensitive ears rotate independently, triangulating the faintest rustle of a rodent or bird. Its golden spotted coat mimics the sun-dappled grasslands, transforming the serval into a living shadow. It stalks with near-silent steps, relying on acute hearing and pinpoint leaps to capture prey. Even the formidable lioness is a practitioner of stealth. Her tawny coat mirrors the dry savanna, and her movements are calculated to minimize sound and visibility. During a hunt, lionesses fan out, using the landscape as cover. Their coordinated approach is silent, each member reading subtle cues, body language, a twitch of the tail, a fleeting glance, to synchronize the ambush. Communication is wordless and precise. A flick of the ear, a shift in posture. These signals orchestrate the pride's movements, ensuring the prey remains unaware until it is too late. Among the most ingenious uses of camouflage is found in the spotted hyena cub. Born with a dark, nearly black coat, these young animals are perfectly adapted to remain hidden in dense vegetation or rocky crevices. This cryptic coloration is a vital adaptation, shielding the vulnerable cubs from predators while the adults are away hunting. As they grow, their coats lighten, but the instinct for concealment remains, a legacy of survival passed down through generations. Across the animal kingdom, every predator has evolved its own unique style of subterfuge. Some rely on disruptive coloration, others on the art of stillness, and many on the perfect timing of their movements. Disruptive patterns break up outlines, while absolute stillness can render an animal invisible even in plain sight. Timing is everything. A single misstep can mean the difference between success and starvation. Sensory adaptations are equally vital. Acute hearing, night vision, and the ability to detect the faintest vibrations in the ground all contribute to the predator's arsenal, allowing it to anticipate and react to the slightest movement. In the tense standoff between predator and prey, both sides are locked in a battle of wits and senses. The outcome often hinges on who can remain unseen, who can interpret the subtlest cues, and who can act with the greatest precision. As night falls and the world is cloaked in darkness, the advantage shifts. Nocturnal hunters emerge, their senses adapted to the faintest glimmer of moonlight, their movements ghost-like across the savanna. Predators vanish into the night, their forms masked by the interplay of shadow and moonlight. The landscape becomes a theatre of invisible actors, each playing a role in the eternal drama of survival. In this world of shifting shadows and silent movement, mastery of stealth, through camouflage, movement, and sensory adaptation, is the ultimate key to survival. Here, only those who become truly unseen endure. As the last rays of sunlight bleed into the horizon, the Serengeti transforms. Shadows stretch and the air cools, signaling to its wild inhabitants that the rules of engagement are about to change. Nightfall is not just a curtain, it's a catalyst. The savanna's palette shifts to muted blues and silvers, and every sound is amplified. For predators and prey alike, survival now depends on senses honed for the dark. The most formidable hunters possess adaptations that turn the night into an ally. Their eyes, layered with a reflective tapetum lucidum, catch and multiply every glimmer of starlight, revealing movement invisible to the untrained eye. Lions, for example, become more than just hunters. They are tacticians. The pride's social bonds are tested as they synchronize their movements, using the cover of darkness to mask their approach. Their vision is a marvel, 6 times more sensitive to low light than that of their prey. Even the faintest shimmer on a wildebeest's flank is enough to betray its position. Lionesses communicate with subtle cues, a flick of a tail, a shift in posture, a breath held. In near silence, they fan out, reading each other's intentions by the faintest glint of starlight on fur. They circle herds with patience, exploiting the confusion that darkness brings. The wildebeest, their vision dulled, huddle together, unaware of the silent threat closing in. A single, muffled grunt, barely audible, triggers a perfectly timed charge. The pride's attack is swift, relying on the element of surprise and the prey's momentary disorientation. In the periphery, the spotted hyena emerges. Its eerie laughter is more than a call, it's a signal. A way to coordinate with clan members and stake a claim in the night's unfolding drama. Hyenas rely on acute hearing, their large, rounded ears swiveling independently to pinpoint the faintest distress call or the crunch of bone from kilometers away. They become both opportunists and strategists, tracking the scent of blood on the wind or the subtle vibrations of movement through the ground. Their vocalizations, low whoops, giggles, and cackles, carry for miles, each pitch and rhythm conveying information about food, danger, or territory. In the acacia woodlands, the serval prowls. Its long legs and slender body allow it to move silently through tall grass, invisible to all but the most attentive eyes. The serval's oversized ears are radar dishes, rotating to triangulate the faintest rustle, a beetle scurrying, a mouse tunneling beneath the soil. With a sudden vertical leap, sometimes over a meter high, the serval strikes, its timing so precise that prey rarely escapes. Unlike larger predators, the serval trusts its hearing over sight, making each hunt a test of patience and precision. High above, leopards ascend into the trees. Their retractable claws grip bark silently, and their rosette-marked coats blend with the dappled moonlight. With padded paws, they move like shadows along twisted branches, their whiskers detecting subtle changes in air currents, alert to any movement below. A leopard's patience is legendary. It may wait for hours, muscles coiled, eyes unblinking until the perfect moment to strike from above. Once a kill is made, the leopard's strength is revealed. It drags its prize high into the branches, safe from scavengers, and feasts in solitude beneath the stars. Even the smallest hunters, like the African civet, are masters of the night. Their musk-laden scent trails are invisible signposts, marking territory and guiding them through the labyrinth of roots and shadows. The civet's sensitive nose detects the faintest aroma of insects, eggs, or fallen fruit, allowing it to forage efficiently where others would stumble blindly. Its black and white markings, so bold by day, dissolve into the patchwork of moonlight and shadow, rendering it nearly invisible to both predator and prey. Across the Serengeti, the darkness pulses with life. Every rustle, every distant call, is a clue in the nightly contest for survival. From the regal lioness to the elusive civet, Each predator has evolved a unique arsenal, keen senses, silent movement, and strategies passed down through generations. Here, strength alone is not enough. The victors are those who read the night, who listen, who wait, who strike with precision when opportunity flickers in the dark. Beneath the endless African sky, the Serengeti's fiercest hunters reveal that when the sun sets, the true battle for survival is only beginning, written in the language of senses, silence, and shadow. Deep within the Serengeti, survival is determined by the remarkable sensory abilities of its inhabitants. Here, strength and speed are only part of the equation. Success hinges on the mastery of perception. Each animal possesses a specialized set of senses, refined over countless generations to detect, evade, and outwit rivals and threats in the wild. At dawn, a cheetah remains concealed in the tall grass, its keen eyes sweeping the landscape for the slightest movement. The cheetah's vision is highly sensitive to motion, enabling it to detect even the faintest flicker from great distances. This exceptional eyesight allows the cheetah to identify a vulnerable gazelle among a herd, targeting weakness with pinpoint accuracy. Yet vision is just one element in the Serengeti's arsenal of survival. In the thick brush, African wild dogs depend on their extraordinary sense of smell to navigate and hunt. Their noses interpret invisible scent trails, revealing the recent paths of prey. Wild dogs can distinguish between fresh and old tracks, guiding their coordinated chases across the savanna, each member reading the chemical signals of the terrain. High above, the martial eagle glides in silence, relying on its extraordinary vision. With eyesight far surpassing that of most animals, the eagle can spot the shimmer of scales or the twitch of an ear from remarkable heights. From its aerial vantage, it locates prey with precision, then dives at astonishing speed to capture its target. For other species, acute hearing is the key to survival. The bat-eared fox, emerging at dusk, uses its oversized ears to detect the faintest underground movements. It listens for subtle sounds, such as termites tunneling or beetles moving beneath the surface, transforming hidden prey into a meal. This precise hearing makes the fox a formidable forager, especially under the cover of darkness. Prey animals are equally equipped with advanced senses. The impala's large, sensitive ears constantly monitor for danger, detecting low-frequency sounds that signal the approach of predators. Zebras combine acute smell and wide-angle vision, using their panoramic view to spot threats and their sensitive nostrils to identify unfamiliar scents on the wind. In aquatic environments, sensory adaptations are equally vital. The Nile crocodile remains nearly invisible, using pressure-sensitive receptors to detect the slightest disturbance in the water. A single misstep by a passing animal can trigger a rapid, precise ambush. Across the Serengeti, the interplay of senses governs every interaction between predator and prey. Predators refine their abilities. Hyenas detect distant sounds, while lionesses excel at seeing in near-total darkness. Prey species respond by developing sharper hearing, enhanced vision, and heightened instincts. In this environment, survival is dictated by the ability to sense what is hidden, not just what is visible. Every subtle sound, scent, and shadow can determine the outcome between life and death. The true drama of the Serengeti lies not only in the visible chase, but in the silent, ongoing contest of sensory perception, a relentless struggle where only the most finely tuned survive. Across the boundless Serengeti, survival is a story written not just in tooth and claw, but in the shifting patterns of weather that sculpt every life. Here, the sky is a silent orchestrator, its moods shaping the fate of predator and prey alike. As the seasons turn, the land transforms beneath the relentless African sun. The air thickens with heat, then cools with the promise of rain, and every creature must read these subtle cues to survive. Drought brings a harsh clarity to the plains. Waterholes dwindle to cracked mud, and the grasslands bleach to brittle gold. In this parched world, every drop of water becomes a beacon and a trap. Prey animals, driven by thirst, journey across vast distances, their movements dictated by the shrinking map of water. They gather at the last muddy pools, nerves taut, senses sharpened by the ever-present threat of ambush. Lions, masters of patience, melt into the tawny grass, their bodies nearly invisible against the sun-baked earth. They wait, motionless at these vital oases, knowing that desperation will draw prey within striking distance. The tension is palpable as herds approach, every hoof-step measured, every shadow scrutinized. A single misjudgment, a stumble, a moment's distraction, can mean the difference between life and death. For the lions, timing is everything. They strike with explosive force, capitalizing on the vulnerability of prey, forced to linger at the water's edge. Meanwhile, cheetahs, built for speed, not endurance, face their own trials. The dry season strips the plains of cover, exposing them to the gaze of wary antelope. To adapt, cheetahs shift their hunts to the cool hours of dawn and dusk, when the air is gentle and shadows are long. Their chases become brief, calculated bursts, each sprint a gamble, each failure a costly drain on precious reserves. After a failed hunt, a cheetah must rest, panting in the meager shade, conserving every drop of moisture and energy for the next attempt. In these lean times, every decision is weighed, every movement measured against the cost of survival. Then, the rains arrive, sometimes in a sudden thunderous deluge, sometimes as a gentle, persistent drizzle. The transformation is immediate and profound. Grasses surge skyward, rivers swell and carve new paths, and the air fills with the scent of renewal. The once barren plains become a sea of green teeming with life. Wildebeest and zebra gather in immense shifting herds, their migrations painting the landscape with movement and sound. The abundance of food scatters them across the plains, making them harder targets for predators. For lions and cheetahs, the hunt becomes a test of adaptability. They must roam farther, scan wider, and refine their strategies to match the dispersal of prey. Wild dogs, with their boundless stamina and intricate teamwork, thrive in this season. Their coordinated chases stretch across the sodden grass, each member playing a role in the relentless pursuit. The wet ground muffles footsteps, and the abundance of prey allows for bold, far-reaching hunts. Yet the rains bring their own hazards. Torrential downpours erase tracks, mask scents, and turn the earth to slippery mud. Visibility shrinks, and the familiar becomes treacherous. Leopards, ever the masters of stealth, adapt by waiting motionless for hours, cloaked by rain and foliage, their patience tested by the drumming of water on leaves. Crocodiles, hidden beneath the swollen rivers, sense the vibrations of crossing herds. In the chaos of migration, they strike with sudden violence, exploiting the confusion of hooves and swirling water. Even the smallest hunters seize their moment. Servals, nimble and precise, take advantage of the explosion of rodents and frogs that follow the rains, their leaps perfectly timed amid the thick, wet grass. Birds of prey, their vision undimmed by the lush growth, glide low over the grass, scanning for the slightest movement, a ripple, a flash of fur, a hidden meal. Each species, from the mightiest lion to the smallest mongoose, is locked in a perpetual dance with the elements, reading the wind, sensing the coming rain, adjusting their routines to the ever-changing script of the wild. The seasonal cycle is a crucible, forging resilience and ingenuity. Some thrive in the lean, dry months, others in the lush abundance of rain, but all are bound by the need to adapt, timing their hunts, shifting their territories, and honing their instincts to the pulse of the weather. In the Serengeti, survival is not a static contest of strength or speed, but a living testament to the power of adaptation. Every animal every day must read the land and sky, seizing opportunity in the fleeting moments between drought and deluge. This is the true battle, an endless negotiation with the elements, where only the most adaptable endure. In the heart of Africa, the weather is both adversary and ally, shaping every hunt, every strategy, and every heartbeat in the wild. Across the vast Serengeti, predators sharpen their skills with every hunt, but the prey are equally engaged in a relentless game of survival, wielding a remarkable arsenal of instincts and learned behaviors. Antelope, zebra, and gazelle have evolved a spectrum of survival tactics, each species adapting to the unique threats posed by Africa's most formidable hunters. Impalas, for instance, are masters of vigilance. Their social structure is built around constant communication. Subtle tail flicks, snorts, and body language transmit warnings through the herd in an instant. Their oversized mobile ears act as radar dishes, triangulating the faintest sounds, whether it's the whisper of grass under a stalking paw or the distant alarm call of a bird. Wide-set eyes grant a panoramic field of vision, allowing impalas to detect the subtlest movement, even behind them, and distinguish between harmless rustles and genuine threats. When a threat is confirmed, impalas synchronize their alarm snorts, creating a chorus that not only warns their own kind but also alerts other species nearby. Their signature escape, stotting, features high, unpredictable leaps and abrupt changes in direction, making it nearly impossible for a predator to anticipate their path. This erratic movement also signals to predators that the impala is healthy and not worth the energy of pursuit. Wildebeest, on the other hand, transform their immense numbers into a living fortress. Their migrations are meticulously timed to coincide with the rains, ensuring access to fresh grazing and minimizing time spent in predator-rich areas. During perilous river crossings, the herd instinctively shields its most vulnerable members, calves and the weak, by funneling them to the center, where they are least accessible to crocodiles and big cats. The strongest adults form a defensive perimeter, using their bulk and horns to deter attackers, while the herd's constant motion creates confusion and reduces the odds of any one individual being singled out. The dust and noise generated by thousands of hooves further obscure the herd's movements, masking the presence of calves and disorienting would-be predators. Zebras employ a sophisticated blend of visual deception and group tactics. Their herds move in tight, coordinated formations, making it difficult for predators to isolate a single target. The optical illusion created by their stripes, especially when the herd is in motion, disrupts a predator's depth perception and ability to track individuals, turning the herd into a swirling, confusing mass. From a predator's perspective, the boundaries between zebras dissolve, making it nearly impossible to focus on a single animal, especially during a chase. When threatened, zebras close ranks presenting a wall of hooves and teeth. They will kick with lethal force and bite, targeting sensitive areas of an attacker. Their defensive circle, with adults facing outward, ensures that every approach is met with fierce resistance, deterring even the boldest predators. The diminutive dik-dik relies on stealth and intimate knowledge of its territory. These antelopes memorize every rock, bush, and escape tunnel within their range. They engineer intricate networks of hidden paths, allowing them to vanish into the undergrowth at the slightest hint of danger, often doubling back to confuse pursuers. Their flight is silent and calculated, exploiting every shadow and patch of cover, while their small size lets them slip through spaces inaccessible to larger predators. Their muted, earth-toned coats provide near-perfect camouflage, allowing them to freeze and become nearly invisible against the dry scrub. Remaining motionless, they can evade detection even when a predator passes within meters, relying on patience and stillness as their shield. Thompson's gazelles, renowned for their speed, also employ psychological tactics. They assess the intent of a predator, sometimes waiting until the last possible moment to flee, conserving energy and avoiding unnecessary chases. When escape is necessary, a gazelle may abruptly halt and face its pursuer, signaling alertness and readiness, which can cause hesitation or confusion in the attacker. This unexpected defiance can interrupt the predator's chase sequence, forcing it to reassess and often giving the gazelle a critical head start. In the ensuing confusion, the gazelle darts away, using bursts of acceleration and sharp turns to exploit any lapse in the predator's focus. Birds are woven into this web of survival, acting as early warning systems for ground-dwelling prey. Guinea fowl, oxpeckers and other avian sentinels perch atop mammals or forage nearby, ever watchful for signs of danger. At the first sign of a stalking predator, they unleash piercing alarm calls and scatter, their sudden flight alerting every creature within earshot. These alarms ripple outward, triggering a chain reaction of vigilance and flight among mammals, amplifying the effectiveness of each species' defenses. In this complex ecosystem, prey species form temporary alliances, sharing information and responding collectively to threats, increasing the odds of survival for all. Their intelligence is evident in their adaptability, learning from failed hunts, recognizing individual predators, and even altering migration routes in response to environmental changes. Every sense is honed, every behavior refined through generations of trial and error, resulting in a living playbook of survival strategies. Here, the contest between hunter and hunted is not just a battle of strength, but a showcase of wit, adaptability, and the enduring intelligence of Africa's wildest survivors. In the heart of the Serengeti, where the sun scorches the plains and dry winds sweep across the grass, water is more than a necessity. It is the axis upon which survival turns. Scattered across this vast landscape, waterholes and winding rivers become the stage for daily dramas, drawing both predator and prey into uneasy proximity. During the dry season, these water sources shrink to muddy pools, exposing the vulnerable and concentrating life into a narrow corridor of survival. Prey animals, driven by thirst, must weigh every step with caution. Each approach to the water's edge is a calculated risk, as the promise of relief is shadowed by the threat of ambush. Lions, leopards, and crocodiles know this well. For them, the waterhole is a natural trap, a place where patience yields opportunity. In the tall reeds and beneath the surface, predators lie in wait, perfectly still, blending seamlessly into the environment. A pride of lions may crouch in the golden grass, downwind and motionless, their eyes fixed on the gathering herds. Crocodiles, ancient masters of camouflage, lurk beneath the murky water, their nostrils barely breaking the surface, ready to explode into action at the slightest ripple. The prey, too, have adapted to this arena of risk. Wildebeest and zebra rarely approach alone. Instead, they form tight, restless groups, their bodies pressed together at the water's edge. Sentinels stand watch, scanning for any sign of danger, while others drink in hurried, shallow gulps. Herds rotate positions, ensuring that no animal lingers too long, minimizing exposure. Even the smallest antelope pause at the periphery, waiting for larger, braver animals to test the waters first. Birds, ever vigilant, congregate in flocks around the waterhole, their sudden flights serving as an early warning system. The flicker of wings or sudden alarm call can send a ripple of tension through the crowd, prompting massive, synchronized retreats from the shoreline. But the waterhole is not just a place of peril. It is also a crucible for cooperation. In the face of shared danger, species drop their usual rivalries. Wildebeest, zebras, and gazelles drink side by side, united by a common need and a collective awareness. This temporary truce amplifies their vigilance, as every eye and ear becomes part of a living security network. When the rains finally return, rivers swell and new pools appear, dispersing the tension and restoring balance. The land breathes easier, and the deadly gatherings at shrinking waterholes fade, at least for a time. Yet as seasons turn and drought returns, the cycle resumes, drawing all life back to the lifeblood of the Serengeti, where survival is measured in cautious steps, and every sip is a gamble. Here, at the water's edge, the eternal contest between predator and prey is distilled to its purest form, a test of patience, awareness, and the unbreakable will to endure. As the Serengeti's rains delay and the parched earth cracks beneath an unyielding sun, a new order emerges, one dictated by drought and scarcity. Water vanishes from the familiar creeks, grasslands bleach to brittle gold, and the very rhythm of life slows under the oppressive heat. In this harsh season, every creature must adapt or perish. Grazers, once spread across endless plains, are forced to traverse vast, barren distances in search of the last green blades. Migration paths shift unpredictably, herds fragmenting as desperate animals gamble on rumor and instinct, risking exhaustion for the promise of distant sustenance. The weakest fall behind, old, young, and infirm, becoming easy targets for opportunistic predators. Carnivores, too, are reshaped by scarcity. With prey scattered and weakened, lions break their routines, hunting at unusual hours and venturing farther from their territories. Packs of hyenas and wild dogs grow bolder, probing the peripheries of rival domains, while solitary leopards adapt their tactics, preying on smaller, more elusive animals that endure the drought in hidden thickets. Competition intensifies at every remaining resource. Elephants, driven by memory, dig deep into dry riverbeds, unearthing hidden water that sustains entire communities. Smaller animals, porcupines, warthogs, and even birds follow in their wake, sharing the spoils of this ancient wisdom. Yet the struggle is not without conflict. Tempers flare, and skirmishes erupt between species that would otherwise ignore one another. Even the air changes. Dust clouds linger over the plains, obscuring sight and muffling sound, giving cover to both hunter and hunted. The night, once a refuge, grows fraught with new dangers, as thirst pushes animals to move under the stars, seeking moisture in dew and the last remaining puddles. Amidst this adversity, the Serengeti's resilience is revealed. Life contracts but does not collapse. Each adaptation, every altered migration, every new alliance, becomes a testament to survival under Drought's dominion. When the first thunderheads gather on the horizon, hope stirs across the plains. But until the rains return, every heartbeat is a measure of endurance, and every choice is a fight against the relentless sun. Across the vast Serengeti, a spectacle unfolds that shapes the destiny of every creature, the Great Migration. It is not a single river crossing or a fleeting stampede, but an endless churning cycle. Millions of wildebeest, zebras and gazelles tracing ancient routes dictated by rainfall and renewal. As the seasons shift, these herds become the lifeblood of the plains, their movements orchestrating a grand ballet of survival and predation. For the grazers, migration is both promise and peril. Fresh grass beckons on distant horizons, but the journey is fraught with exhaustion, hunger, and relentless pursuit. Calves are born on the move, some taking their first unsteady steps as the herd surges forward. The old and the frail struggle to keep pace, their fates sealed by the unyielding demands of the journey. Predators, in turn, are bound to the rhythm of migration. Lions, once lords of territory, become nomads themselves, shadowing the herds in search of opportunity. Their strategies evolve. Ambushes are set near river crossings, and hunts become more frequent as the abundance of prey swells. Cheetahs exploit the chaos, targeting the young and the weak, relying on bursts of speed among the confusion. Hyenas and wild dogs track the herds for miles, forming shifting coalitions that test the boundaries of endurance and cooperation. Yet the migration is not merely a feast for hunters. It is a gauntlet. River crossings, swollen by rains, become deadly bottlenecks. Crocodiles lurk beneath the surface, seizing the unwary in seconds. The strong currents claim the exhausted, while the survivors emerge, battered but alive, on the far banks. As the herds move on, the ecosystem transforms in their wake. Grazed lands are stripped bare, forcing predators and scavengers alike to adapt or move on. Birds of prey circle above, capitalizing on the chaos below, while jackals and vultures follow the migration's shadow, cleaning the bones left behind. Through this endless cycle, the balance of power is never fixed. Territories dissolve and reform. Alliances shift, and every creature must adjust its tactics with each passing day. The migration is not just a journey. It is the pulse of the Serengeti, a living force that redraws the front lines of survival with every thunder of hooves. Here, in the ceaseless movement of life and death, the true dynamics of predator and prey are revealed, ever-changing, ever-challenging, and forever entwined beneath the wide African sky. In the heart of the Serengeti, survival is not only written in speed or strength, but in the language of sound. Every day, a hidden symphony unfolds, calls, signals and warnings, weaving an invisible network that shapes the fate of hunter and hunted alike. For the predators, silence is a weapon. Lions, masters of stealth, move with padded paws and communicate through subtle tail flicks and low, barely audible grunts. These near-silent cues coordinate a pride's ambush, orchestrating flanking maneuvers without betraying their presence to wary prey. In contrast, wild dogs rely on high-pitched twittering to rally their pack, their voices rising above the grass as they encircle their quarry, tightening the net with every urgent call. Cheetahs, solitary hunters, use chirps and purrs to communicate with their cubs, ensuring their young remain hidden and safe while the mother stalks. Even the briefest sound can mean the difference between a successful hunt and an empty belly. But it is among the prey that the language of alarm reaches its most desperate pitch. Zebras bark harsh warnings, their calls rippling across the herds like a shockwave, prompting instant flight. Wildebeest, with their distinctive, echoing moos, alert companions to movement in the brush, sometimes sparking a mass stampede at the faintest hint of danger. Gazelles flash their white tails and stomp their hooves, combining visual signals with snorts that travel far across the open plain. In the cacophony of the migration, these warning signals become a lifeline. One startled bird's alarm can trigger an exodus, sending hundreds of animals surging away from unseen danger. The air vibrates with tension. Every rustle, every distant roar, every sudden silence can tip the balance between life and death. Yet sound is not always an alarm. Elephants rumble low frequencies through their feet, communicating across kilometers to warn of predators or announce the location of water. Even the smallest creatures, like mongoose and meerkats, employ an intricate vocabulary of chirps and trills to organize sentries and signal safety. Here, in the wild orchestra of the Serengeti, communication is as vital as tooth or claw. It is the unseen thread linking families, packs and herds, shaping strategies, forging alliances, and ensuring that no creature, predator or prey, faces the challenge of survival alone. Beneath the golden grasses and swirling dust of the Serengeti, an unseen world pulses with information. Here, survival is written not only in sound or sight, but in the language of scent, chemical signals that drift on the wind, linger on the earth, and shape every moment of life and death. For predators, scent is a silent tracker, a memory etched into the landscape. Hyenas patrol well-worn paths, noses twitching, deciphering invisible trails left by potential prey hours or even days before. Every tuft of grass, every patch of earth carries a story, fear, hunger, territory, or the promise of a fresh kill. Lions mark their domain with pungent sprays, invisible boundaries that warn rivals to keep their distance and signal pride members to rally for a hunt. Prey animals, too, rely on this hidden web. Antelope pause, nostrils flaring, reading the air for the musky signature of a stalking cheetah or the acrid tang of a lion's passage. A single whiff of danger can spark an exodus, sending herds streaming towards safety before a predator is ever seen or heard. Elephants, with their extraordinary sense of smell, detect water sources kilometers away and recognize the scent signatures of family and foe alike, guiding entire herds across the savanna. Even the smallest creatures are fluent in this chemical code. Dwarf mongooses rub their scent glands on rocks and branches, creating a map of safe passages and warnings for their kin. Termites and ants lay intricate pheromone trails, guiding nestmates to food or rallying for defense against invaders. In this invisible network, every breath tells a story. Scent marks signal readiness to mate, declare territory, or offer reassurance to a nervous calf. The Serengeti's air becomes a living archive, storing the secrets and strategies of countless species. Here, in the wild tapestry of survival, chemical messages are as vital as any cry or shadow. They unite families, ignite rivalries, and tip the balance in the eternal contest between hunter and hunted. In the Serengeti, even the wind carries whispers of life's relentless struggle, unseen but never unfelt. As the Serengeti's seasons shift, so too do the strategies of its inhabitants. The landscape transforms from lush green abundance to sun-baked scarcity, and every creature must adapt, or risk being left behind. During the rains, a carpet of emerald grass stretches to the horizon, rivers swell, and prey animals scatter across the plains. For predators, this means longer pursuits and less predictable meals, forcing lions to coordinate more complex ambushes and cheetahs to sprint greater distances in pursuit of scattered gazelles. But as the dry season tightens its grip, the game changes. The once bountiful grasslands wither to brittle gold, and waterholes become the Serengeti's crowded stage. Prey herds shrink their ranges, clustering near dwindling water sources, while predators adapt by exploiting these natural bottlenecks, patiently waiting in the shadows for an opportunity to strike. Elephants, with their deep memory, lead their families along ancient migration routes to hidden springs, while zebras and wildebeest risk perilous journeys in search of greener pastures. Some animals alter their very schedules to outmaneuver the elements. Nocturnal hunters like leopards and hyenas become more active under the cover of darkness, avoiding the punishing heat of day. Birds of prey adjust their hunting patterns, soaring higher on thermal updrafts to conserve energy. Even the smallest creatures like termites and ants synchronize their building and foraging with the cycles of rain and drought, ensuring their colonies survive the seasonal upheaval. The Serengeti's changing seasons demand constant innovation. Every scent trail, every migration path, every whispered warning in the night is shaped by the pulse of rain and the scorch of sun. In this ever-shifting battleground, survival belongs not just to the strong, but to those who can read the rhythms of the land and adapt before the next season turns.